everybody saw at E3, Bethesda, the gods of taking old franchises and bringing them back to life in all their glory, like Doom and Wolfenstein, have got a hold of Prey from 3D Realms. Now, before we get into it, the game does look amazing, and God knows I trust Bethesda and everything they're about. It looks like a really cool, crazy game that I really want to get into with a big horror, alien, space vibe. So it seems like a very interesting game. The thing is with me is, if anybody ever played the original one, it was from 3D Realms, the creators of Duke Nukem. And it was an amazing game that not a lot of people heard about, but it started to circulate around and become like a cult classic game. Back out on the 360 where you play a Native American who gets abducted by aliens and has this crazy, wacky adventure, which is actually kind of horrific in some parts, where he's trying to save humanity from these aliens. Now, when Bethesda acquired the rights from 3D Realms after they went under and then Duke Nukem got bought by whatever the company was that fucked up a sequel to that, they already had a halfway made game. Now, everybody who played the original Prey all loved it. Critics liked it, everybody dug it. It just wasn't one of those games that got, how should we say, the marketing wasn't that good for it. Many people didn't even know it even came out. It had the crazy, fun-loving first-person shooting of the era of the early 360, with not all that bullshit that came later, with a good, crazy story, and also had kind of the feels of the original Duke Nukem games. Not that, oh, crude humor, this and that, even though there's some parts of it, but the fun aspect of it. The thing is like, I love Bethesda, I trust them, and the game looks amazing. But I wish they would have just called it by a different name, and they wouldn't have scrapped the entire project. Because from what I hear, Prey 2 was almost complete when they got the rights to it. They would just have to polish it up and finish some things, and they could have released it. How do you guys feel about this, and are you looking forward to it, and do you trust in Bethesda?
I always trust in Bethesda. I think Bethesda does great work with bringing back titles that have done things from other things. I mean, Fallout wasn't even Bethesda's when they got it, and they turned that into a huge hit. Wolfenstein did it out really well.
Doom
was also very good.
The thing is
I mean, they've really come into like this big. They've become really just this huge landmark for video games because of what they've done so far, and it's just, I really do trust them to be able to make something and make it great again.
Yeah, and this is gearing up to look like something like, have you ever heard of the game Soma that came out not too long ago from the creators of Amnesia?
Yeah.
It kind of has that vibe and feel to the trailer, and it's really like, it's a shooter, but it has that psychological horror vibe, and it looks really good. But from like a fan of me from the original one, I wish they would have released that second one and just called this something different. But that's just my pet peeve. I do trust in Bethesda. I know this game is going to be great, but I really wish I could have got my hands on that Prey 2 before they scrapped it. Because the story was crazy and wacky. If anybody out there, if you don't know what Prey is, go check out that first game. It's amazing. Trust me, it's not going to have anything to do with this new Prey that's coming out. But Bethesda has come up with a name for themselves, not only of making great games, but also taking great series that have kind of went down the shitter and bringing them back to life.
I mean, I believe in Bethesda too. Just like you guys were saying, they are beautiful at breathing new life into old games that people are just like, I didn't like the last title. On top of that, I mean, Bethesda, it's hot right now. I mean, people are gonna hear the name of the developers alone and be like, well, let's give this a try. I love Fallout 39 and fucking Elder Scrolls 87.
Yeah.
I gotta try Prey. But no, in all seriousness, Bethesda does a beautiful job at bringing games back to life, bringing them back from the verge of extinction. Really, hope that's the case here with this one. Enjoyed the first Prey. If it's as half as fun as that,
okay, so you played it.
This one. Huh? Yeah.
That game was a lot of fun. It was creepy and dark and had a serious story, but at the same time, it still had the fun and a little bit of the sense of humor of the original Dooms, and it worked really well, did it not?
It did. It did. I felt like they found a nice way to pair the two. Sometimes you get games that are supposed to be a little creepy and have some satire to them, like Left 4 Dead series. That it goes either one way completely or the other way completely, and there's not a real nice mesh between them, But I think Bethesda could do this just for the simple fact that they added a fucking one random guard in Skyrim that took an arrow to a knee.
Bringing that back now, are we?
Hey, it's gonna be remastered, HD quality, 4K, arrow to the
mods, and hopefully maybe VR are put into it. But this is definitely not going to be like the original play. This is completely a brand new reimagining of it, and it's going to be very kind of horror and psychological, just from what the trailer's shown so far. So I can't wait to see what they do with it. It saddens this old gamer's heart for not being able to see what Prey 2 would have been and where the story would have took us, but I believe in him.
Emphasis on old.
Fuck you.
My mind went there too.
See,
wow.
I'm just the big 3-0.
The Furio? Oh, that's what your boyfriend calls you, Furio, instead of Teddy or
Hey, I thought you liked it when you dressed up in that teddy bear suit and I took advantage of you.
Oh, Jesus.
You only like to rub my tail. You never look at me in the face.
That did not last long.
Only when you're a good boy.
I know. We need to start placing bets with our viewers about how long it's going to take for Justin to make.
Right?
Don't hate on our bromance.
If they have a Steam account, I'll give away one random item out of my inventory to them if they win.